Hey y'all, it's Jess, the Superheroes Therapist. Welcome back to my channel. Let's just get straight into it. I'll get you all the nitty gritty about who I am and that jazz later on. Guys, I had to come with this truth. Are you listening? You are not a no-limit soldier. I don't care what they told you. You hear me? You are not a no-limit soldier. Guys, this episode is going to be about boundaries. Healthy boundaries, learning when to say no. We have to learn our limits, guys. I don't care what social media tells you. I don't care what your influencer is doing. I don't care what your mom and your culture tells you. You have limits. Don't believe me? Push them. Don't believe me? Push them. So guys, okay, now that you know what we're talking about. Hi, my name is Jess. I'm the Superheroes Therapist. Welcome to my channel. If you are new here, I am passionate about all things mental health and mental wellness. And I do my very best to bring to you information that is very applicable, practical, and sustainable as far as how we deal with ourselves and our mental health. I've been talking a lot about our narratives, not feeding the peanut gallery, learning how to ground ourselves. But this week, what came to me and what I thought was so important I needed to share immediately was this thought. We are not no-limit soldiers. I don't care what society has told you. I don't care what your mom, your dad, the norm says to you about what you should be doing and how you should be doing it. You are not a no-limit soldier. You have limitations. You should know when to stop. So let's get into it. You know, the sauce, the tea, the drip. Let me tell you what's popping. Let me break it all the way down for you guys. We hear so much right now in society about, oh, so-and-so was sexually assaulted, so-and-so is doing this, and so-and-so is depressed, and so-and-so made it, and so-and-so still made millions of dollars and had this great, amazing, fulfilling career. You are not so-and-so. I am not so-and-so. If you are mentally unwell, stop here, call a therapist, look up a directory, find somebody that can help you. This video is not to substitute therapy. However, I would like to be able to provide you psychoeducation, aka the truth, the real deal. So let's get started. So I was talking recently and the idea of limits and capacity came up. And in my head, because if you've watched me before, you know my brain works as, well, how can I make this relevant? And I thought, and I heard the song playing, you know, I'm a no-limit soldier, I thought I told you. And I was like, oh my gosh, this narrative has tried to jack up my whole life. It is probably hijacking your life as we speak, and you have no idea. What do I mean by that? I mean simply this. We are taught that we're going to be superheroes. We're going to do it all ourselves. I don't need any help. I'm strong. I'm independent. We have limits. I have limits. You have limits. Everybody around you has limits. Whether or not we embrace those limits, however, is very different. But if you've made it this far, you want to know, one, how do I know when I've met my limit or when I'm at capacity? Two, how do I stop myself from getting there? Three, if I get there and I implode, explode, overflow, what should I do? Well, let's get into it. So, how do you know your limits? Well, if you're paying attention to yourself and your body and your patterns, your body will tell you. Your body keeps score. Your body will let you know when you are overworked, overwhelmed, over it. The issue is, do we listen? Commonly, more often than not, the answer is no. We're like, I've got it. No worries, no help needed. So, common signs that you are over it, anxiety has gotten to you, you're at your limit, are things like being very short. I know when I'm at my limit in any particular arena, when the littlest things set me off this big, the small stuff has me in my feelings, completely dysregulated, ready to pop off, to lose it, to be out of control, to be angry, to go from cute little Gizmo to a wet gremlin, to go from the cute little tiny green guy to the Hulk. Then when those things start to happen, I know I'm at my limit. I don't know when I hit it, or I didn't used to know, or you probably don't know. Well, everything was fine, and just all of a sudden, guys, I lost it. That's not how it works. Everything was not fine. It was not all of a sudden. If you want to know more about all of this stuff and stress on your body, please click backwards to the last video where Lisa Saeed of Mindful Life Solutions and I went live on Instagram on May the 17th and talked all things stress and mindfulness. Good stress, bad stress, all stress. So when we get back to limitations and capacity, how does one know when they have reached it or when they're getting close? The first thing is, up front, initially, you may not know. So the first thing I want you to do is to start taking very clear notes, case notes, observations on how you interact with the world, what makes you tick, where you start your day. If you start your day and you're okay on Monday, but Tuesdays you have like a leadership meeting and you get in the car and you're like, the whole day. By the time you order, they get your salad dressing wrong at Chick-fil-A, you're done. Find out what's going on. Start to monitor in your body what anxiety feels like, depression, sadness, hopelessness. So that way when you feel that way and that thing in your body rise up again, you know, oh my gosh, this is the source of it. We still haven't gotten to limits, right? So when we think about limits, 1 second, because I'm a visual gal. This bottle of Germix from Five Below is 30 fluid ounces. Can we see that? My ring light won't be great, but it's 30 fluid ounces. So the capacity that this container can hold is 30 ounces. 30.0 ounces. If I were to try and get more than 30 ounces in here, what do you think would happen? Okay, that's fine. So what would happen was it would run over. Not because the Germex bottle is incapable. Not because it's a bad bottle. Not because it's stupid, ungrateful, unwilling. Like, not because any of that. It simply does not have the capacity. It can only hold 30 ounces. Let's imagine ourselves, our person, our biopsychosocial, spiritual person as a container. The limits of this container are this tall, this wide, this deep, whatever the measurements are. These are the limits, right? So proverbially, if we were to use this as ourselves, we have a limit that we can reach. Yeah, following so far? Great. So what happens with us as people is because we believe that we are no limit soldiers, that we can just press on, sleep when you die, grind till it gets wake up and hustle, don't stop moving, like keep pushing, doesn't matter, sleep when you're dead, like all of these lies. We're like, okay, you know what? If I poke a hole in the side of this container, it will hold more. No. It is not, in fact, holding more. It is draining. And that's what happens when we take more than 30 ounces on. So, school, work, relationships, extracurricular activities, church, mosque, synagogue, whatever else you have going on are all things that you're going to fill into the capacity of what you can hold on to. Some of those things are places you can go and you can empty out. You can open up and take something in your bucket and pour it out, and it's going to help you to release, right? Some of those things are good. But if we do not acknowledge our limitations, or when it becomes too much, what can happen is the things that were meant to stay inside that keep this working, for example. So for this Germex bottle will no longer be of use to me when there's no sanitizer left in there. So every time I pour out, I use some of its purpose. I take it out, the purpose for the capacity is there, it has more room to grow and more things to do, but if it's not being replenished, if every time I put something in, or take something out, I'm not putting something in, it is not being replenished, and eventually it'll be depleted. So what happens here is we treat ourselves like Germex. We go, we buy it, the big bottle. We want to get the most bang for our buck, 30 ounces for $5. So I'm going to go through and do the most that I can with this. And what I will do is use it till it is all gone. Till it's empty. What happens when it's empty? Well, it no longer has purpose in what I would use it for. But if I were to treat myself like this bottle and understand capacity and limitations, what I would implore you to do would be this. As you get rid of things that give you space for more, fill up with other things that align with your purpose. Clearly, I am not telling you to quit your job or not pay your mortgage or stop buying groceries. What I am saying, though, is some things that we put into our container, into the place that our capacity is, does not serve us. It is not beneficial in all seasons. And if something that needs to be done is done, let that chapter be closed. And as you finish one thing that depletes energy from you, find things that can fill you back up. So yes, your job needs you just like you need your job. Your spouse, your husband, your children, your kids, all of your various roles, you're needed in those. And you are of value and of purpose. However, if you show up empty because you have given and given and given and given and given and given and given, or on the contrary, you are so full from taking and taking and taking and taking and taking and taking and taking. If this was full past 30 ounces, I could not get the little pumpy, squeezy thing in. I would put it in and it would begin to overflow. So though the purpose of sanitizer is to clean my hands, if I had too much of it in there, it would not function as it was designed. Clearly, this stuff evaporates in air, which is why when you put it on your hands and you move it around, it evaporates. If I leave this open, the things that I put into it that are supposed to be helping me to achieve my common goals to make me do well aren't there. Then I have it on the inside and on the outside. We might call that a meltdown. You might think of that as your panic attacks, your anxiety, your depression bouts where you do not want to get out of bed. So that's capacity. That's how to use it. Now it's figuring out, how do I implore my no? How do I say, nope, I'm at my limit. I would love to, but I can't. I'm so honored by your invitation, your request, your desire to have me present for XYZ 1, 2, 3. However, if I add one more thing to my bottle, even if it is meant to be there, this bottle is meant to hold sanitizer. So if I add more to than just sanitizer to it, it's not going to harm it unless it causes it not to function as designed. So sometimes giving someone a no and knowing your limits, say, hey, I'm only 30 ounces. And when something else hits the fan, when something else goes wrong, I may overflow. So I've got to give myself that space at the top of the bottle to say, hey, if I've got to add anything in here, I've got space. Also, to be able to then say, hey, okay, so I've got this bottle, I've got this purpose, I've got this stuff going on. How much of this is filled with things that spark joy for me, of things that help me to go through and replenish and refill so that I am serving myself while serving others? So when I think about capacity and we think about how much we can hold and where this is going and how this is beneficial to both myself and to others, I have to then examine the purpose of a pause. So what happens, people go like way left or way right, and we just struggle with being in the middle, right? So I either say yes to everything and I have no time for me, or I say no to everything and I'm just miserable and unhappy. So when I have time for a pause, so I pump one, I pause, I use it. I analyze, do I need more? Did it serve the purpose that I needed to serve for me? Is this limit enough? Is this yes enough? Is this no enough? And then I'm able to say, okay, hey, well, no, my hands are still sticky from whatever. Or maybe I need another intervention. Maybe I have to get up and go wash my hands. I'm going to leave the office and go wash my hands. Maybe that's what my recourse needs to be. But you've got to stop. When we examine our limits and then going from being a no limit soldier to I have limits and that's okay, and I don't have to be a soldier because it's okay to cry and all that jazz, and not having to be tough and put together all the time and ready for war 24/7, and just say, hey, you know what? I'll get back to you. First trick. Someone asks you to do something, you're not sure if you have time availability. Cool. Can you text me the date and time of whatever you need? Will you send me an email about that? I would love to get back to you. Give me 48 hours and I'll look over it. So you give yourself the opportunity to like actually open up your planner and say, hey, according to what I've got going on here on these dates, I'm available or I'm not available. This will or will not work, and have a solid plan. So when you do give your yes or you do give your no, you're not ambivalent. Now you're not kind of stuck between, was this a good idea, was this a bad idea? You made an informed decision, you stopped and you paused. If I sat here and just kept squirting, it would have nowhere to go. Yes, it has value. Yes, it has purpose. But when I use it past the limit of benefit, so when I don't sleep, I'm not resting, I'm not taking care, so I'm not eating, and I'm going and I'm going and I'm going and I'm going and I'm going, and I'm expending all of my energy, even if it's on good things, I am without limits. And what happens is, if I were to take this Germ-X outside of this container, what is keeping it safe, what's housing, what's making it function in its purpose, it would just splatter everywhere. Which is fine, it's still Germ-X, but without the limits to keep it to function in its purpose, to be able to then direct the liquid jelly stuff from the bottom through the little arch thing to the top pumpy thing to get it out, it's not effective. So think about that. When we decide we're going to step outside of our limits, outside of our confinements of what we should be able to do and take on, and say, well, you know what? Because it's overflowing, it's not working well, I'm going to pour it out. I'm going to find a way around the design in which it was created to use. I'm going to sleep less or eat less or work more. Whatever that thing is going to say, hey, I'm pushing myself to the limits. I'm trying to enlarge. There's nothing I can do to this container to make it be able to hold more. It is not ineffective because it cannot hold a gallon. It was not designed to be a gallon container. It was designed to hold 30 ounces, and it's designing as it was functioning. As it's functioning as it was designed, excuse me. So if you were designed to be a 10-ounce candle, do not try and be a gallon of bleach. Your composition is different. Your purpose is different. Your molecular whatever. You're a solid versus a liquid. It's so very different. So identifying and understanding your capacity and your limitations and what works for you is beneficial. It gives you the ability to operate in purpose with precision and get what only you can do done. So I don't care if everybody in your circle is a candle, you're a gallon of bleach. I've never used candle wax to get a stain out of my white clothes. So there's purpose for you. I don't care if everyone's marching to the beat of one drum and your drum is completely different. You hear different things. March to the beat of your drum. Know your capacity. Know your limits. Know when to say no. Be okay saying no. And give yourself a break. When you need to refill, refill. When you need to replenish, replenish. When you need to just not do anything, do nothing. Do not let your timeline on LinkedIn, if you're a professional that's going through comparing yourself to other professionals, tell you what you should be doing. Scholarship, deadlines, whatever you have going on. There's no deadline. There's no time set aside for you to be great other than when you decide to be great. So I don't care if the rest of the world is 30 and married, 40 with the house, whatever that thing is, that is not your race to run. You were made to be bleach. You are not a candle. If I tried to light bleach on fire, it would probably go poorly. If I light a candle on fire, the wick begins to burn, the wax begins to melt, and it emits a smell that is pleasing. I love the crackling of wood wick, but I don't think that if I ever tried to light a gallon of bleach on fire, it would go well. Please do not try that. That is not the purpose. I also don't think if I took candle wax that was melted and dropped it onto a stain on my white clothes or into my washing machine, that it would at all help the process of whitening and brightening clothes. So when we understand our capacity and what we were meant to do and how to then go through and refill and refresh and break and be used as we were designed to use, we don't have to worry about being no limit soldiers. We can ask for help. It is okay to ask for help, period. You know how I know? Because nature teaches us that. I have never seen a baby birth itself. When was the last time you saw a baby soothe itself when it was crying? Or change its own dirty diaper? You know these self-watering plants? I'll wait. Oh, you don't, do you? But we want to be self-watering humans. We want to be self-growing plants, self-feeding, self-changing, autonomous beings. And that is not the truth of what we are. We are biopsycho social aspects that we need the interaction with. We need to be able to ask help and not be great at everything. Therapists should see therapists. Therapists should go to the grocery store. People should go to the grocery store and buy groceries. That's why you're not getting gas, groceries, and your hair done all in the same place, because there are different purposes for everything and everybody. So you may not be like everyone else, but you need to know your limits. And when you're getting close to your limits and the signs and symptoms that your body will give you to say, hey, just sit down, slow down, take a break, they will be all right. And when self is like, nah, sis, you have to. Well, self, if I don't take care of me, I will have nothing to give to anyone else. If I don't replenish in here, if I don't get my Germ X bottle right, I, in turn, cannot give anybody what they need. So if I, myself, as a superhero therapist who helps healers heal, does not get Jessica in order, when somebody comes to me and says, hey, let's navigate through my hurt, I want to go from hurt to healing, from pain to purpose, and I click and nothing happens because I did not take time out for myself, I am ineffective. Did you hear that? Ineffective. That means that I am not able to do and be as I was designed. So I don't care what the candle is doing. I don't care. I'm not watching somebody to my left or to my right. I am my only competition. I am my biggest critic, as are you. So remember, you are not a no-limit soldier. And if you have been, take your soldier stripes off, put your gun down, and stop fighting a war that you're going to lose. Learn your capacity. Learn your limits. Learn how to refresh and replenish. Learn how to ask for help. There are so many competent people who desire to be of service to you and help you. Speaking of those people, hey, I am one of them. I am a licensed clinical social worker here in the state of Florida. I am open and willing to traveling the U.S., the world, to come and speak to your people, your church, your congregation, your business, your HR department, your execs, to explain to them ways to manage and create work-life balance and not be a no-limit soldier. Ways to go through and really have an opportunity to take a deep breath and take care of themselves in their day-to-day. Or if you're in Florida and you need a therapist, call me. My website's www.swsocialsupport.com. You can book a consultation with me on there. If you would like me to come out and speak, go ahead and go to www.justjefferson.com, and you can find out the link on the Work With Me. Fill out a speaker inquiry for me to come out and speak for you, speak to you, come and whatever you need to be able to help you to really deal with life on life's terms. Not just from a therapist standpoint, from human to human. Talking about the rough stuff that is life. Guys, that is all I have for you today. I wanted to be brief, but here we are. Not briefly into this, but I really wanted to share what was on my heart and really explain to you guys, like, let's not get caught up in the hype. Like, let's not get caught up in the hype. You are not so-and-so. You are simply you. I am simply Jess. I am simply Jess. I cannot be you. You cannot be me. So I gotta know my limits, know when I need help, know how to ask for help, how to get help, and do what the help tells me to do. Doesn't matter who is talking about their stuff online, on Instagram, wherever. Make sure that you are dealing with your own stuff. A like, a comment, a subscribe is not going to help get you to where you need to be. A therapist will. Seeking out the correct resources will do that. So please, if you need help and you're like, hey, I'm not in this state, where do I go? I can send you tons of listings. Matter of fact, therapyforblackgirls.com, Therapy Den, Psychology Today, Torch if you're a Christian. Like, there are tons and tons of directories and listings for you to go through and find a clinician that can help you navigate through your stuff, to walk with you from hurt to healing, pain to purpose. All right, guys, I'm done for real. For real, for real. You know, but this time, like, for real, for real, for real. Matter of fact, drum roll, please. I'm out. Don't forget, subscribe, like, comment, share. Tell the world, tell a friend, tell a foe, tell everybody you know. We are not no limit soldiers. We got limits, we have boundaries, and we're going to say no when we need to, and we're going to ask for help. If you even like remotely love this, tell someone else. If you hated it because you're at a limit, show the person that you think needs to watch this. Somebody that you love. Share it, share it, share it, share it, share it, share it, share it. Bye, guys. I will see you guys next time. Toodaloo.